Hello everybody and welcome back on this channel. It's been a long time since I made the last video, but for now I wanted to make another one because I have watched Onward in cinema, and so I decided to make a review on it also on my English channel, so that finally you can have a new video from me. And to start things off, I would say let's begin right with the animation, because the animation is stunning as always from Pixar, and yeah, it's really great looking like always. The cars, the city, the just everything looks very great and gorgeous, and so that you really can dive into this world. But one thing I have to say, even though it hasn't to do that much with the animation, but all the movie posters and everything tease this beautiful night, with the stars, with the purple and blue colors of the sky, and it just looked so magical and so wondrous. And I was really missing that in the movie, I have to say, because I thought we will have this glorious night scene where they are in this beautiful landscape. They're just sitting on the car, like in so many posters of the movie, and then just there having a good time. And well, but in the end, it turns out that we only have maybe a short scene where you even see that the sky looks like this, and that was it. That was a little disappointing, I have to say, but for what they did, it really doesn't matter that much. But to go further, let's move on to the story, and the story was really unexpected and great. I mean, first off, you have this fantasy world, and well, you have many fantasy movies. It's something where you could say, okay, the story could go very cliche-like and very predictable, and in the end, in my opinion, it really wasn't. It had this great Pixar twist that you actually always expect, but on the other hand, don't know if you can expect it here, or just don't think about it because the goal is so clear, and suddenly the goal kind of changes, and that's what makes the heart of the movie. Because it's so great to see the two brothers bonding and developing their relationship to each other with a big brother that knows everything, and the more shy and thin one, and you have in your mind, you have these these typical expectations from such characters, and even though they fulfill it kind of, in some ways they also don't and are the opposite of that. And that's also something I love, but that is about the characters. But the story is really about these two characters, about these brothers, about their journey, and all the things they have to overcome to, yeah, on their way onward. And I also love the title in this way, because it's also about what the movie wants to say, that you move onward. And in this case, it's about their father, and that they want to bring him back for one day. And of course, after this, he isn't there. So, of course, it's also about moving onward with this. And I love this premise. It's actually pretty sad because the father is dead, and the younger brother has never met his father, and the older one has met him, but also, of course, not for a very long time. And so it's very emotional for them both, of course, to have the chance and to try this. And yeah, to complete it, they have to go to this journey on this quest. And what I also find very interesting is that this kind of is with role play, is with Dungeons and Dragons, these role playing games that I also experienced once, and yeah, I find it interesting that they incorporate it here and also have this very cool looking book with the rules, and It's pretty cool. It's also a good concept because with magic you can do everything, but here they show how it is limited, how you have to do something to achieve this magic, and that there are also some rules, so that it's not that easy to control it, to make it, and that's what I really like. So it's really something special and great if the spell really works and you feel the success that the character feels. And yes, that is really something why I love the movie. And it's really great to see this father and his sons this bonding and their journey. And yeah, it's also very suspenseful. There are many moments where I really kind of said no in the theaters because I kind of really felt like, okay, now they could die. Because always when they have only a few seconds to get through a very dangerous situation or risky situation, they really have only these few seconds. There is not more time. While in many stories you have like the typical thing that they still can talk a lot about what they do, but here they really are in a hurry and you feel it. And that's also something that I really much like and probably miss in some other movies, because with that the suspense is really high in this movie and I love that. Um, there also have to be sacrifices they make, which were also very emotional, and the conclusion is just absolutely perfect and have this nice twist that gets you very emotional. And also I had yeah, it almost made me cry. So yeah, I absolutely love the story, and it's definitely not that typical thing. It has many maybe things where you could say, okay, now I have seen this many times, but Pixar is so good that they always can do a little twist here and there in some situations so that it again feels more original and more specific for this movie. And that's why the story shines so much, in my opinion. Now to move on to the characters. I really love the brothers, of course, and yeah, as I already said, it's a little cliche what you might think, like the younger brother is the shy one, is the thin one, and the other is the big, self-confident one, and always is a little can sometimes annoy the younger one, and they have this yeah, this big old brother, the younger brother, shy. Um, but like I already said, the movie has a very clever way of turning this thing around and making both characters more complete, like showing also from the shy one a self-confident side, and from the confident one also a more emotional and more um, a more vulnerable side. And so I really like that. So that is really great to see the relationship develop, and it also feels like Pixar does it again a little better, like that Pixar always gets a little better with this movies, because it it feels just so original, so much breathing, so real, that I really feel with these characters. And that's why I love Pixar movies, and I just did it here again. Also, they have a mom that is really cool, because she just she cares for them and she goes after them, but she doesn't try to speak it out to them, but she just helps. She's just there to help them achieving their goal. And it's really nice to see that the mother is really caring. She's really strong, really like this power mom, and I really love to see her in action and how she achieves all these things that she does. And there are also some other characters that get a little more attention than you might think. Like there's this lion lady, something like that. That's also Eric, actually a pretty good character. And yeah, otherwise there isn't much to say about the characters, I would say. But the heart of the characters is, of course, the brothers, and they just work perfectly for me. And also, what I want to mention here is that the father, even though you only have a pair of legs, can express much personality with them, and I also love that. That's just Pixar at its best, making lifeless objects or things getting alive and giving them a personality, and it just makes it here perfect again. I'm just impressed how good they managed to make all this what they do with just a pair of legs, and you really have the feeling that this is the father. And the great thing is that it challenges your imagination how the father might look like in these situations, what his face would look like. And because I don't see it, it's more like you imagine it, and that's also something that I like the movie does with the viewer. And there are also some very great scenes. One of my favorites is also where the brothers dance with these pair of legs and have a good time, and it's also a pretty special scene. And to come to the conclusion, I also want to mention something about the soundtrack, because I love the music. It's by Michael Dana and Jeff Dana, the Dana brothers, that also made the music for The Good Dinosaur that I love. And they always have this Irish folk music kind of what I really like. They have a really nice theme for this movie that just stays in your head and just is magical kind of. They also have a very emotional theme for the father and all these things that is also really touching. And then there is some rock music. What I really was surprised and impressed of, that these composers really composed this, because this dance scene that I already mentioned is just one of my favorite, and the music is just absolutely fantastic. You have a 2-minute track, just rock music with some choir that sounds epic, with some piano. That it's just great and crazy that this belongs to the original score of this movie. And therefore I really appreciate also the soundtrack, and also that they do this rock. There are also some other short rock tracks, like when he puts on the cassette, and normally we would say, okay, the movie uses some songs that already exist, but in this case they just said, hey, let's compose a few seconds of road trip music, rock music, and it's just perfect. So really much appreciation here also for the composers. And the credit song is also very emotional and fits the story perfectly, and I also love this one. So in the end, I have to say I love Onward. It's a great movie, and I have no real complaints about. I mean, I am a little disappointed that the posters with this gorgeous looking night and the stars and the colors of purple and blue, that this doesn't really has a big scene in the movie. And while some things might could have been a little more developed, like the world, that there is not that much world building really. It's more like our world, just with fantasy creatures, and maybe they could have done a little more with that, because the locations don't look that interesting. But on the other hand, they still manage to get their purpose, and the focus is on the characters, the brothers, the journey, and not really the world around them. And so I'm absolutely fine with that, and yeah, I really love this movie. And now I would like to hear what you thought about this movie, and yeah, tell me your opinions in the comments, and also how you liked my review. And well, let's see if we see again. It probably will take some time until I make another video, just because I'm pretty busy, and so I can't promise anything. But I hope that at least this new review can make you a little happy, and yeah, I just hope you could enjoy it. So stay healthy, and let's see what the future brings.